Hello, everyone. And again, welcome. My name is Prabhakar, and I'm responsible for the Google Apps products. The journey I'm going to take you on today goes back 10 years, when we served up to the world what we then called Google Apps for your domain. This was primarily centered on our Gmail offering, our flagship email offering that's used by over 1 billion users today, active users. But in time, we added calendaring, unique cloud-based real-time collaborative editing, video conferencing, and a host of other suite services that really rested in one fundamental principle, that people work together, they work better together in the cloud, collaboratively. And my word, what a journey it's been. Today, we are thrilled to have and honored to have over 2 million customers who depend on us every day to enable their employees to be successful. And as we work with these customers, we've learned a tremendous amount of what it takes to make organizations successful. And with that, we have evolved. And I couldn't be more excited to announce today that we have evolved into G Suite. G Suite is an integrated suite of applications designed to enable workers to collaborate better in the cloud with the power of Google's machine intelligence to enable them to work smarter. And my team and I are really excited to invest in introducing G Suite to you. And you'll hear a lot more about this in the weeks and months to come. All right, but what does this really mean for our customers and for our products? This industry has been fixated on personal productivity for 3 decades now. And in the process, a lot of good things have happened. We've all created tools that we use every single day, many tools that we love to use, some that we love to hate. But that's the current plane at which we operate, personal productivity. What G Suite aims to do is to elevate that beyond to a couple of levels. First, and I'll walk you through this in the next few minutes, we want to think about teams as first-class objects. What do teams do in organizations? How do they work together? What journeys do they embark on in their day-to-day lives? And then, from there, we'll go on to what it takes to make organizations successful. Great. So let's begin by thinking about people, the atomic units in an organization. And I'm going to dwell for the next few minutes on a series of announcements that I'm really excited about bringing to you today on the power of machine intelligence, enabling people to be more successful in your organizations. A study by McKinsey estimates that the average employee really gets about 2 productive, creative days in a week. Okay? So what you ask, are they doing the other 3 days? Well, they're searching for information, they're scheduling meetings, they're triaging email, things that we think of as mundane work. And that's where we think that with the power of artificial intelligence, we can make things dramatically better. The first example I'm going to give you of something we're launching now comes from Google Drive. Many of you are used to file systems, to file repositories. And I'm sure you can identify with this journey that people go through over and over again. You go into your file repository, you scratch your head. I know it's in there somewhere. Do I search? Do I browse? Do I filter? Do I try and guess who gave me that file? And on a good day, our studies show that the average employee spends 15 seconds each time they come into a file repository before they get to the file they're looking for. And that's only on a good day. Lots of people don't find what they're looking for, and then they go off and ask their colleagues and bug a whole bunch of people across the organization. Okay? So we challenged our engineers and said, we're Google. We need to do better than this. Okay? And this is what they came up with. Quick access uses your activity patterns to predictively serve up to you the file that you're about to need just as you arrive in Drive. Okay? No searching, no typing, no clicking. You come in there, and I've been using this feature for a few weeks now, and a lot of the time we get it right. And the best part of machine intelligence and machine learning is as the system learns, it gets better and better. So that's the first of the unique announcements I'm happy to make today. In Google Drive, quick access will give you your files even before you ask for them. All right, so you've got the file you wanted. What do you want to do with it? I'm going to walk you through a series of machine intelligence capabilities in our document editors that we collectively refer to as Explore capabilities. The first of these I'll do as a demo, and then after that, I'll walk you through the other capabilities. And I'm joined by my colleague, Jeremiah, who's going to put up on the screen a spreadsheet. So this is Explore in Sheets. Can we have Jeremiah on the screen, please? Great. So this is a spreadsheet of somewhat fictitious sales data from the last holiday season. And what we can bring here is the power of Google's natural language processing. The problem we're trying to solve is that a large fraction of people, about a third of people who use Sheets, have no idea what formulas are. They don't want to know. They want to do some analysis. They should be able to ask questions and get the answers. So Jeremiah is now going to ask a natural language question, just as an analyst might ask. Okay? So what's the average profit margin for socks? Okay? And if the demo guards are with us, out pops the answer, 0.45. Okay? And what it did underneath the covers was to take that natural language question and transcribe it into a formula that just got executed against the sheet. Let's try another example, Jeremiah. Okay? What was the most popular product on Black Friday? Okay? Fair question, you might ask. And back comes the answer, belts. Right? Again, this is where we're able to take the power of natural language processing. And Jeremiah, do you mind showing that formula? Great. So right there, he's shown you the fairly complex formula that got drawn out of that fairly innocuous natural language query. Right? Excellent. Thanks, Jeremiah. If we could have the main slides back, please. Good. Well, not quite. Can we switch back, please, to that? Excellent. I'm going to now briefly touch upon the Explore functionality in a couple of other settings in our document editors. Explore in Slides attacks the following problem. When you're creating a presentation, you want to get your message across. You want to get your content in and deliver it. You don't want to lose more time formatting and polishing and rounding the corners of boxes. That's not what you're here to do. What Explore in Slides does is you drop in your content, and with a couple of clicks, it automatically formats it into a beautiful presentation that's going to have your boss thinking that you stayed up all night polishing the slides. Great. Very quickly, let me touch upon Explore in Google Docs. 4 years ago, in 2012, we launched a feature that we called Docs Research, where we coupled the Google search engine into your Docs editor. And it's somewhat gratifying to see the world take notice and start to do similar things right now. But we decided to go much further. Okay. You want to be able to compose a document about Neil Armstrong, and it starts to pull in content about the Apollo 11 mission from Google's gigantic knowledge graph. That is the power of Explore in Docs. What we can do is bring in related concepts, not only from the web, but also documents from your drive and shared content across your company's repositories. Let me turn to my next example. Calendars and scheduling have kind of been unchanged for 200 years. A calendar is a bunch of boxes on a grid, okay? And an assistant is some poor soul who's hunched over a terminal, moving those boxes around all day for a living. Right? this is the 21st century, folks. That's not acceptable, right? So we decided to change that. Here's how Find Time works, launching today in Android and iOS, soon to come to the web. You know that a bunch of people have to get together. Well, we haven't yet gotten to the point of guessing who those people are, but let's say you tell us who those people are. Okay? We then figure out automatically, looking at everybody's schedules, understanding people's meeting patterns, and finding the best time for them to meet to maximize the probability the meeting actually happens. Okay? And in time, as the system learns, we're going to get better with things like finding the right room for them to meet. Okay? So the promise here is scheduling should become more and more automated and less reliant and prone to human error and trouble. So as a result of this, you're going to start to see more innovation in this space. And in time, you shouldn't have those poor souls hunched over terminals dealing with this stuff. All right. I'm going to pause for a second and reflect a little bit on all of this machine intelligence capability. I'm going to begin with a confession. I worked in these technologies for 2 decades. And I will confess that I did not foresee that a day would come in my lifetime when computers would beat the world Go champion. I did not foresee that in a matter of months, we could take those same machine learning kernels and turn it into an engine that answers 10% of emails automatically. So Smart Reply composes responses to emails, and 10% of the time, users are perfectly happy using what the machine has composed. I did not foresee that in this generation, we'd have machines that could take images or videos and annotate them, right? Or real-time cloud-based translation, where you hold up a phone to a sign, and it gets translated into your language. Okay? And I attribute this to the maniacal focus our founders, Larry and Sergey, put in machine intelligence and forced us all to re-examine the assumptions on which we're building these products. Now, there's a second point I want to make here. There's a lot of players out there talking about artificial intelligence being the future, and that's great. At Google, artificial intelligence is not the future. It's current shipping reality, and that's why we're able to move from beating the world Go champion 40 years ahead of schedule to products that use exactly those same technologies in months. This is not a lab experiment. What it takes is a way of life, a way of transcribing a business problem into a metric optimization that machine learning then turns into beautiful experiences like these. All right. That's what I had to say about individuals. Now let's uplift this to the level of team productivity, because I believe this is going to become increasingly important in the years to come. So the point here is we need to think of teams as first-class citizens and how they go about doing their work every single day. OK, and today, I'm pleased to make 2 announcements in this realm, both going into early adopter program today. The first, we call team drives. Okay, so what's team drives? Wow, I didn't realize that it would be so popular. Okay. Okay. So the idea of team drives is to get away from the notion that content is owned and managed by individuals, because at some level, people join a group, they leave, and when they leave, content gets orphaned. You don't want that, right? So team drives is a setting where a team is a first-class object in terms of its ownership of content. Teams manage content, assign content to other people, and all of this is fully dynamic as the identity of a team keeps changing, because people can join a team, people can exit a team, and all of that leaves team content unaffected. All right, the second announcement I want to bring you is a new Hangouts experience for video. When you make a phone call, you don't pick up your phone and say, is that person on Verizon or Vodafone? Do they have an iPhone, Android? You just dial their number and you're off to the races. It's that same fluidity we want to bring to video conferences. It should be just as seamless to make a video conference. So the new Hangouts experience, also entering early adopter program today, offers the following features. First, as always with Google, no downloads, no plugins, nothing extraneous. Simple link-based video conferencing, no identities, so you can easily communicate with partners, with customers, with anybody outside your domain, candidates, things you deal with every single day. Okay. Moreover, every meeting by default, and this has been one of our biggest requests from customers, by default, every meeting has a phone number, so if you're caught in the airport security line at the time of the video conference, an experience I'm sure every one of you can relate to, you don't have to find a nice place where you're visible. Just pick up the phone and join in, right? As simple as making a phone call. Expect to hear more from us in this area, but the new Google Hangouts video experience is an early adopter, also starting today. All right, so I've talked about people. I've talked about the next layer of teams. And as I said, you should expect to hear more announcements in this area from us with other products. Let's now up-level it to the success of the organization. Okay? And really, the goal here is to break down the information silos in an enterprise. Okay? 3 months ago, we launched a unique cloud-based search and assist capability that we call Springboard. What this gives you is the ability to harness all of the content in your enterprise, whether first party or third party, bring it into a single index, and first of all, provide secure search that's sensitive to reorganizations. So you have a reorg, and instantly, content you're not privy to is hidden from you. Or if you become privy to content, conversely, you can access that content through the search functionality. Okay? This is technically pretty challenging, and I'm thrilled to say my teams pulled this off. Okay? But there's more. You're all familiar with Google Now on the consumer side. In similar fashion, with enterprises, this capability proactively provides you assist capability. Okay? So when you're walking into a meeting, the assist capability surfaces a document, says, here's the document you're going to need for that meeting. Okay? And if you look really carefully at the screenshot, the document being suggested here comes not from Google, but from Box, with whom we just signed a partnership to be able to surface exactly this kind of content. Okay? So it doesn't have to be just Google content. It's whatever's relevant to your business. Right. So that, in summary, is G Suite, a suite of applications designed to make your business run smarter.